We just got back from our walk. I absolutely adore walking in the morning. I feel like I can say it to the rooftops. I love it, I love it, I love it. Also, finally get to wear my linens. So happy. But I am just waiting for my brother, and then we are going to have some brunch, and then I'm just gonna relax the rest of the day, spend time with family, hopefully read a little bit. The weather has been absolutely amazing here in LA, so really trying to make the most of it.
But Katya, it's your cup of tea.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
See? It's a and it says, this is not an amulet of that from the bad spirit that, no.
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, I think maybe it is.
No, there was. This one is lovely, look. Shura. Oh, a lot of like
Wing and...
Videos. This is an unsexy but very sexy product. It is called Cocoa Floss. It's a textured and pro.
Oh my gosh, this needs to... Hi. Look at her. First off, my little tea with my lemonade. I feel like I could maybe put quite a bit more sweetener, but I'm not hating it. Trying to get as much tea as I can. This is the Tazo Organic Peachy Green. Cheers, very refreshing. Quite lemony. I thought I would go through my TBR. I have physical books. Oh, this should be here as well. I mean, I'm reading it, but I have my physical TBR, and then I have a couple of books on my story graph that I am really excited and hopefully will be able to read within spring, because I also read on Libby, so some books are more in demand than others, so it entirely depends. But if I can get some of these books, I'm very excited. Okay, I'm currently reading Slow Days, Fast Company by Eve Babbitt's. The book talkers that I follow have talked extensively about Didion and Babbitt's, and I actually ended up seeing on my For You page the author of the book, that I think it's Didion and Babbitt's, or Babbitt's and Didion. Anyways, and she gave some recommendations of books to read prior to reading her book. It's not necessarily a must, but she says it just gives you a little bit of perspective on who these authors are and their viewpoints on life. I tried to read Slouching Through Bethlehem. I could get through a couple of the essays. I just found that it just wasn't sticking. I did end up reading Blue Nights by Joan Didion and absolutely adored it. I just felt really seen in her understanding and digestion of the loss of her daughter. It just reminded me of some of the feelings that I had when losing my grandparents. And then I ended up moving on to Slow Days, Fast Company, which I'm currently reading by Eve Babbitt's. And I can understand why she's considered the cool girl read. She definitely has an air about her. She's kind of up in the clouds in a way, but she definitely is the kind of girl that is very much the life of the party. She has all these crazy stories, and you kind of just want to sit down and listen to her. Eve Babbitt as one of the people that I meet over brunch, and she has something new to say to me because she experienced some like crazy rendezvous with an Irishman, which Eve Babbitt does talk about in this book. So I think it's very interesting. I really like it. Another is In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. I'm a sucker for historical fiction. I picked this up. It's based in World War One. I'm always up for a good love story. And also this was highly recommended by Maggie O'Farrell, and I absolutely adored Hamnet and the marriage portrait. So anything that she recommends, 10 toes down, I will buy it. So I have watched this show, this next book that I'm going to talk about. I have watched the show, I think, when one of the girls goes to, is it the Amalfi Coast? She goes to some coastline. And then I think, I don't know if it's her teacher or the father of the boy that she likes ends up kissing her. And yeah, the story just gets like, it's already crazy beforehand, but now we're moving into like a different territory. And it's Elena Ferrante, my brilliant friend. I will say I'm very much someone who is slow to read some of the popular books. I feel like everyone and their mom talks about it, and then it gets put aside because everyone's moving on, and then I finally pick it up and I'm like, oh my god, this was such a good book. Or like I finally pick it up and everyone's like, yeah, we've been talking about it, and you're like, yeah, but like I finally was in the mood. Yeah. Pride and Prejudice. This book and I, we kind of tussle back and forth because I absolutely adore the movie. I adore the book. I've gotten about a quarter of the way. I think it's just the language that is sometimes very difficult for me, but I did hear that when reading this book, it is important to look at the historical context of how this book would have been read by women, and it would be in like their own little like clubs of sorts, and these women would read in a group out loud and then at the end discuss. Now I have no one necessarily to discuss this after reading the chapter, but I'm intrigued to try reading it out loud and see if it's easier for me. And also I realize that I can't take this at the pace that I normally would for any other book, just because the language is just slightly difficult for me. But also, look at the cover. I am a sucker for a good aesthetic cover. So, yeah. The next book is Outline. I have heard a great deal about Rachel Cusk. I'm not familiar with her writings, but this is, I think, just goes through a variety of conversations between her and a bunch of people and different experiences that she has. Essentially, the whole thing is her navigating a loss in her life. And so I guess each story is maybe teaching her something. I don't know. Last but not least, Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove. I am excited to read this. Look, what a chonker. So if it already takes me a hot minute to read a book, I might just have to double up for this one and like do like double time. So like one during the day, one at night, I don't know. Something like that, because this is a big boy. But it's also apparently a love story. And again, trying to read more love stories because I do love a good romance. It's just very hard to find because usually the ones that are talked about on BookTop are very trope heavy, and I don't know, I don't enjoy trope heavy romances. I like when it emulates real life, real experiences, real dynamics. So yeah. And then in terms of on my story graph, I am really trying to get more into nonfiction and memoirs, and one that is about art, which like I don't read a lot of books about art, so this is really interesting. It's All the Beauty in the World, the Metropolitan Museum of Art and Me. It's from the point of view of a museum guard who has worked, I think, about a decade or over a decade in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and just sort of talking about, from what it says here, the treasures and art at the Met. So intrigued by that. Another one is Eros, the Bittersweet by Anne Carson. This is, I think, a collection of essays, and it pretty much explores the concept of eros from both the classical philosophy and literature. Two that I really want to read. I'm not sure I already have quite the stack, but if I play my cards right and I can maybe read on Libby, but it's probably like 14 weeks wait, is James by Percival Everett and then Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I've seen those at my local bookstore and I'm very intrigued. I read the descriptions, really liked it, but we'll see. Who knows? It depends on how much time I need to wait. Another book that I really want to read that I currently have on hold, and it says it's available soon. Actually, there's two. So there's John Ashbery's Commotion of the Birds, and then the next one is Mélie de Carangal. It's Painting Time, and it says it's an aesthetic and existential coming-of-age novel exploring the apprenticeship of a young female painter. So, again, trying to get into more art this time of year. So, new dress today from TJ Maxx, and I think it looks so beautiful. It's definitely giving me Pride and Prejudice vibes, for sure. They were at least Milkmaid vibes. But yeah, I don't know. I just really like it. I think it's so beautiful. I paired it with my Sam Edelman shoes. Love Sam Edelman. Not talked about enough. I feel like because I don't wear dresses often, I just feel so like, I don't know, out of my element with dresses. I don't know, just something different. Ready to spend some time on a yacht in the Amalfi Coast. That is a dream of mine. Not necessarily the yacht part. I mean, the yacht part would be, who wouldn't want to at least be on a yacht at least once in their life? But to go to the Amalfi Coast. And I think with a dress like this. Wait. Okay, I am headed to the park, which is really fun. It's a little nerve-wracking only because I've never like taken myself out on a picnic before, which is definitely out of my comfort zone, but I'm working on getting out of it. So might as well start with things that are slightly uncomfortable but still have a level of comfort to some degree, just so I'm not completely putting myself into like a true fight or flight. But yeah, I'm very excited. I got some kava and I think I'm going to read. It's absolutely beautiful here. There's a group of kids that are like right in front of me, but I realize how much I let this belief that like being an adult, I imagine, you know, as an adult there's no room for imagination, and just like listening to them, I don't know, create this entire world in this bush. Like, I don't know, I feel, I can't say there's envy. I don't envy, but I think that there's a bit of sadness that I've lost that sense of just pure imagination. And, you know, if I maybe let myself tap into that imagination just a little bit more, I feel like I could actually better create comprehensive goal of like where I want to go in life and what I want to do, but it's so hard to let myself imagine. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Look at this. That's so cool. I would love that in my own entryway. Oh my gosh. Look at all these doors.
See the doors that we have? And then I needed to measure and buy. See they are from same era.
Yeah. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look. I adore it. And look at all the little mailboxes on the wall. This is seriously my favorite. I will have a door like this. These door handles.
Look how beautiful this little is already. I think red is sold.
Oh, it is sold.
It's sold. They are absolutely gorgeous. Black. It's just the ceramic for the door. See?
Imagine that in your bathroom. Gorgeous. I really like these, oddly enough. These ones are really pretty.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to think. Those ones are as well.
See, remember that we saw another one, that those hoop ones.
Oh, already sold, but the hands.
Very castle-y ones.
Yes.
Look at this.
I have just been spending my late afternoons and evenings reading. I'm trying to get back into making more Spotify playlists and going on Pinterest. I think it just helps with like just fun creativity. And I love music. I went to school for music, so I love creating stories through music. Oftentimes when I do any kind of Spotify playlist creations, it's usually from the space of, if this were put into a motion picture, how would I want the soundtrack to sound? And that's oftentimes what helps me to curate the playlists. Sometimes I just have a ball and I don't think about it from that perspective, but especially if I read a good book, then I will think about it in that fashion. So, yeah. While the sun is out, I'm gonna do a bit of cleaning and then just hang tight for the night. But thank you so much for watching. I am so grateful to everyone that has watched my videos. I have always wanted to start a channel and just kind of let my creativity flow. I'm still getting the hang of things, and I didn't realize just how much of a learning curve there is to creating content, editing content, posting the content. So yeah, but thanks for hanging tight. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Look at how beautiful the sky is. It's like cotton candy.